Good morning students, hope you all are well. Welcome back in the chemistry class. Today we will discuss about what happens to an acid or a base in a water solution. Let's begin with this activity. In this activity we are taking a test tube. This we have to take a dry test tube, right? There should be no water in the test tube. And we are taking a small amount of sodium chloride, that is NaCl, and then we are pouring some concentrated sulfuric acid, right? Means there is no water added in the test tube. So afterward the reaction takes place, and the reaction which takes place here, there will be an evolution of a gas. You can see here, this is the gas is evolving here in the test tube, right? And this delivery tube is attached with the help of the cork in the test tube, and through this delivery tube the gas is coming out. This gas is basically HCl gas, because when this sodium chloride reacts with sulfuric acid, the following reaction takes place. This is NaCl, sodium chloride plus H2SO4 concentrated sulfuric acid. It forms sodium sulfate and hydrogen chloride gas. This is hydrogen chloride gas, and this gas is dry in nature. So what will happen if you will bring a dry litmus paper here it is shown the moist litmus paper. If you are bringing a dry litmus paper, there will be no change in the color of litmus paper. Why? Because when the gas is dry, there is no formation of H ions, and if there is no formation of H ions, it will not show the acidic character. Acidic character is shown only in case when there is presence of water, right? So when this litmus paper is moistened and it is brought near the delivery tube from where the HCl gas is coming out, hydrogen chloride gas is coming out, it changes to red color. And when it changes to red color, means it shows that hydrogen chloride gas is acidic in nature. But unless and until it is not moistened, it is dry, it doesn't show the acidic character. So what do you understand by this? That only in presence of water the ion dissociation takes place, right? So the hydrogen ion in HCl are produced in presence of water only. If there is no water, there is no dissociation of ions and no acidic character will be shown. Clear? The separation of H plus ion from HCl molecules cannot occur in the absence of water. Always remember, if there is no water, as I told you that when HCl gas is dry, there is no change in the litmus paper, but as it is moistened, means water is there, it shows the red color or it shows the acidic nature of the gas, right? So HCl plus H2O, what happens then? When HCl reacts with water, or it is dissolved in water, then it dissociates into hydrogen ion H plus ions, or you can say when H plus ions react with H2O, it forms H3O ions, right? These are the hydronium ions and plus chlorine ions. So hydrogen ions cannot exist alone, but they exist after combining with water molecule, right? You can see here, hydrogen ions cannot exist alone, means if there is no water, it will not exist because no dissociation takes place. So thus hydrogen ions must always be shown as H plus aqueous or hydronium ion, that is H3O plus. So remember to write in such a form. In this also the question is asked sometime whether the dry litmus paper will change the color or not, or you can say that whether the dry HCl gas show the acidic character or not. You all have to remember this, dry HCl gas never will show the acidic character. It will show the acidic character only when it is dissolved in water, or litmus paper will change the color in presence of HCl gas only when it is moistened, right? So the reaction is H ions, H plus ions plus water, because when it is dissolved in water, it forms hydronium ions. So what we have seen that the acids give H3O plus ions, hydronium ions, or H plus aqueous ions in water. So let us see What happens when a base is dissolved in water? अब this is a base, that is NaOH, and it is a solid here. When it is dissolved in water, it forms sodium, that is Na plus aqueous, and plus OH minus. Why aqueous is always written? Because this reaction is taking place only in presence of water. So it is written here aqueous. In the same way, QH means, as it happens in case of the acids, that acids dissociate in H ions or H3O hydronium ions only in presence of water. In the same way, bases also, when dissolved in water, then only dissociates into hydroxyl ions or the OH ions. The same happens with QH. You can see here that presence of water is shown here. K plus ions plus OH minus ions. Magnesium hydroxide, MgOH whole twice, also when dissolved in water, then also it dissociates into magnesium plus ions and OH minus ion. Magnesium is Mg2 plus, right? 2 plus because it has 2 valency. Now, as we have identified that all acids generate H plus aqueous and all bases generate OH minus aqueous, we can view the neutralization reaction as follows. You know that when neutralization reaction we did in the previous videos, we have seen that acid plus base, when react, it forms salt and water. So you are learning the word equation. I told you always remember the word equation. So acid plus base react together and form salt and water. So this is acid, HX, right? This is acid. It can be HCl, it can be HNO3, it can be H2SO4, whatever. In the same way, base, MOH, it can be NaOH, it can be NH4OH, it can be COH whole twice, right? Then it forms salt. These two things will form salt, and H ions from acid and OH ions from base will mix together to form water. Getting? This H of acid, H ions from acid, OH ions from base will form water. So this is H aqueous, OH minus aqueous. These two when combined form water, that is liquid. You know, when you go in the lab, you will find that wherever the concentrated acid is kept, there is on bottle you will find the danger sign. So these type of danger sign also sometimes asked in the question ki what type of sign you find on the bottle of concentrated acid. So these are the danger sign, you can remember it. This in this diagram you can find that the sulfuric acid, that which is concentrated, by this we are making the dilute acid, right? So what is the procedure of making the acid dilute? Remember always and listen carefully, when water, we have to take water first, and in that water we have to pour acid very slowly with the continuous stirring, right? You are dropping the acid very slowly and you are stirring it continuously. Reason? Because the reaction is highly exothermic. Exothermic reaction means it releases lot of heat. So that is why this precaution has to be taken always whenever the acid is diluted, that acid has to mix in water rather than water in acid. This type of question is asked many times. How you are making the acid dilute? What is the process of making the acid dilute? Or why it is suggested that pour acid in water, not water in acid? Because in acid, if you will pour water, it will, because of highly exothermic reaction take place, sometimes even bottle can blast also due to the local heat, as well as it will splash out and causes burns. So please remember, always you will add acid in water. See steps for diluting an acid. The process of dissolving an acid or a base in water is highly exothermic one. As I told you, this reaction is highly exothermic, means lot of heat is generated. Care must be taken while mixing concentrated nitric acid or the sulfuric acid with water. The acid must always be added slowly to water with constant stirring. You have to stir constantly so that this heat will be absorbed by the water, right? And if water is added to a concentrated acid, the heat generated may cause the mixture to splash out and cause burns. So remember always, never you have to add water to acid. You have to always add acid to water. Otherwise the reaction may cause the mixture to splash out and cause burns. So the glass container, even what can happen, the glass container also can break down, as I told you in the previous slide, that even it can break down because of the local heating. And mixing an acid or base with water results in decrease in the concentration of H ions per unit volume. So what happens if you are mixing the acid or the base in water, what it results in the concentration of H3O plus ions, means more and more water you will add, the concentration of H3O plus ions or the OH ions will decrease. So such a process is called dilution. In this process, because the concentration is going down, that is why the process is called dilution, and the acid or the base is said to be diluted, right? So remember always what are the steps for diluting an acid and what will it affect on the concentration of H3O plus ions or OH minus ions, mean hydronium ions or the hydroxyl ions. When you will add water, its strength will decrease, right? It will be a dilute acid. Thank you.